Hi there team, Coach Alexa here. I got caught out this morning. I opened my door to head out for a little bit of a session and it was flipping freezing. I really wasn't expecting it. About 5 degrees first thing this morning. Beautiful, sunny, cold, crisp autumn morning, but my goodness, have I suddenly felt the difference. It feels like only a few weeks ago that I was giving tips about how to train in really hot weather, how things have changed. So I thought I'd give a little bit of an overview about how to and why to warm up. I've gone into some of the detail about exactly what the warm up does in terms of our body to help prepare for a run in another video. So I won't go over that again, but just to say that the most important bit that we're focusing on in this video today is about increasing our muscle temperature. So the reason we want to do that is because we will perform better in our run when our muscles are warm, particularly if you're going into a speed session, intervals, tempo, hills, that sort of stuff. You'll get more out of that session if you start the main quality bit of the session with the muscles at good operating temperature. And it also helps slightly reduce injury risk, so cold muscles are a little bit more likely to suffer from small tears and damage as we train. So I mentioned there the warm-up is even more useful for faster runs, maybe midweek sessions. So generally speaking, for example, for a long run, I wouldn't suggest or write down a particular warm-up for somebody to do. Generally, the first few miles of that long run are going to be your warm-up, and then you carry on at pretty much the same pace. But when you're doing a session where you're asking your body to perform faster, higher heart rate, higher effort level, you do want to make sure that your body and particularly your muscles are fully up to operating temperature before you set off. Generally speaking, just running for a reasonable amount of time until you're warmed up is a really good rule of thumb. So perhaps if you did a 5-minute warm up in the hot summer months, that might be extending to a 10-minute warm up of just easy running, and you might get to a 15-minute warm up. It very much depends person to person. I tend to run cold generally, so I don't mean when I'm running necessarily, I mean I'm just cold all the time. So for me it takes a little bit longer to get my body actually feeling like I'm warm, and that's what we're looking for really. We're looking for that feeling that we're not feeling chilly anymore. So we step out of our door usually as runners underdressed basically. If we were to stand around outside with our running kit on, we would get cold, but we do that because when we're running our muscles are producing a lot of heat as a byproduct of that energy release process in the muscles to power us forward. So we dress a little cold for it, but we should, after that 10 or 15 minutes of easy jogging, be up to a temperature where we feel warm. And when we're feeling warm, we're in pretty good sign that we're in a good place to start the main quality part of our session and run a little bit faster. If you find that it takes you longer to get to that point on a colder day, or you're doing a really short, sharp speed session, it can be useful to throw in a few warm-up drills. So things like skips and high knees and heel flicks, sideways running, all of that sort of stuff, backwards running, even a little bit of light sort of active strength exercises. So a few sort of active bodyweight squats can really help kind of power up the muscles a little bit more quickly. If you find that warming up just by running slowly takes a long time, or you're a little bit pressed for time in the mornings. So that's always an alternative as well. Or towards the end of your warm-up, just putting in, sort of 15-20 meter little accelerations or strides where you're accelerating and then taking a sort of longer loping stride to decelerate. So all of those are good ideas to just complete your warm-up or finish things off a little bit quicker. The other thing I would say that, I guess time of day where warm-ups I feel are even more useful is if you're doing one of your speed sessions or quality run sessions in the week, in the mornings. So not only are the mornings generally colder than the evenings because the area's cooled down all overnight, but also you're generally going from asleep to fast running in a relatively short time scale if you're doing an early morning interval session, for example. So it's even more important then to get your body woken up, moving, get everything going and making sure you're fully warmed up before you go out and run speedily. Hope that's useful, and I wish you many lovely sunny autumnal morning runs soon.